Hello and welcome to episode 4 of How to Play Doorkeeper. If you've stuck with me for this long, you have gone through P is for production, O is for orders, and S is for skirmish. Well, we are on to the fourth and final phase of your turn, and that is E for end. But honestly, it might as well be E for easy because this is very simple. E is for end, the end phase. So at the end of your turn, you can use any unused orders that you would like. You can, move units. You can transfer them. You can even summon extra units if you have extra orders and additional power tokens. However, you cannot declare any additional attack orders. And that's actually basically going to be it. At this point, you can also save any unused power tokens equal to your active leader's level. However, this particular rule is kind of up for debate. I will be playtesting my game pretty soon, and we're still trying to work out if you have too many or too little power tokens during an average turn. So just kind of stay tuned as to whether or not I will finalize that rule. However, also at this rule, there are some card effects that may trigger at this point. However, currently at the time of this posting, there aren't any. And with that being said, that basically wraps up the end phase. However, as you can obviously tell, the video is not yet over. And that is because I just want to go through some additional kind of little facets of the game that don't neatly fit into a particular phase. As I have stated previously, I will be going through each individual kind of card class and card type and going through how those work, and they'll get their own videos. So what you're going to see right now is just going to be a brief overview. If you still have any questions about their individual components, like I said, just check out those videos that will be coming up soon, or you can just post any kind of questions or comments in the comment section below. Additionally, feel free to join my Discord channel. The link to the channel will always be in the description. With that being said, I'd like to quickly discuss these guys. So these are known as legendary monsters. It kind of says on the side here. There we go. And I don't want to go too much into them because, like I said, they will have their own video. But really quickly, so legendary monsters kind of function as like your boss creature of your deck. So here on my left, I have one, and here on my right, I have one. This one for the right is for this deck, and left for this deck. So this card here is Omnisaurus Apex Fossilsaur King. It works well with the Fossilsaur archetype. The Fossilsaurs are basically just kind of dinosaurs that are mostly fossils that have been kind of resurrected, and they have their own kind of effects, but all of them have a special effect where you do not, or when you discard them, you send them to the void instead of the discard pile. And since we're on the topic of discarding, I'd like to get into that really quick. So during your production phase, you can discard cards, and basically you can mulligan. So it only happens once during your production phase, but you can discard up to your entire hand, and then you can draw that many cards from either deck, depending on, what sort of cards you discarded. If you discard unit cards, you can draw unit cards. However, like I said, you can only do this once during your turn. Again, this is in the same vein of reasoning as allowing you to draw extra cards. I really just want this game to be more so about having tactical approach to combat rather than, oh, let me, draw a bunch of cards so I can actually do something. I always get really frustrated when I'm playing other trading card games, and it's like, oh, I want to do this combo, but I need to have certain cards that let me draw more cards. And obviously there's strategy in that, and I do have cards in the game that allow you to draw more cards. But I really, like I just said, want this game to be more tactical, about on the field, kind of like with chess, because as you can see, this game has a lot of your units are moving around on a field, and it's not just any unit can attack any of your opponent's units, like in, like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh, for instance. All right. So additionally, one second. So leaders, as you can see, you're always going to have two. You're going to have your passive leader. It's going to be placed on your base, as we discussed in the first video. And as you will notice, they don't have their own kind of power value, but their power value is going to equal their level. And then you add in their respective bonuses. As you can see, they have all 4 colors here, which allow them to have potentially all 4 types of bonuses. Also on the bottom, they have an effect. And this on the left explains at what level their effect activates. And normally, this isn't really a rule, more so just kind of deck building tips. You're going to want to try and have leaders that have combos that work well together, or that are based around whatever archetype you're playing. Of course, you don't have to play an archetype, but as always, archetypes usually have, greater synergy with one another. So if you look at the top of this card, it says Fossil Sore, Quetzal Cutlass. The Quetzal Cutlass kind of being a pun off of Quetzalcoatlus, which was a type of, flying reptile in the dinosaur times. Anyway, so you'll notice that Fossil Sore is listed kind of smaller, and that's because that is the card's archetype name. So a card that's part of an archetype will have sort of 2 different names. It'll have, so like if we just look at this card, so it'll be Fossil Sore Quetzal Cutlass, but it's also Fossil Sore. And what that means is that, because there are certain card effects that'll say all, for instance, Fossil Sore units do such and such. So the way that, or the reasoning behind that archetype naming rule is just to include kind of an additional effect and synergy with cards that have the same quote-unquote name. Let's see. Oh, so also, you will notice that I just have these 2 Legion pawns out, and they each have a number. You can have up to 6 Legions. However, usually during a game, I'm going to say you're only going to have about 3 out at a time. A Legion is just a group of units that are grouped together up to 5. And you can have a siege weapon, which is also a unit. And those get equipped to the Legion, so they don't count as an actual slot within the Legion. So like here is an example. As you can see, they are kind of set up differently. And again, as a reminder, each card type will have its own video. So this is just a quick kind of overview. But here in the upper left-hand corner is the card's operation cost. That's not its power. An operation cost is how many units have to be in the Legion that this siege weapon is equipped to in order for this siege weapon to be used. And then on the left here, it adds different bonuses because it doesn't have power of its own. And yeah, that should basically kind of conclude this mini series. Thanks for watching all the way through. And as always, make sure to enter the door to adventure.